Troublesome news developing on the Yellowstone River. A large oil spill has dumped toxic chemicals into the water in Glendive, Montana. People who lived near it knew something was wrong when they could actually smell and taste oil in their drinking water. Now the emergency response crews have an extremely tough task in front of them. Their job is to clean up the mess under a frozen sheet of ice. That oil is seeping under a river that is frozen solid. The town draws its water from the Yellowstone River, and now they are forced to rely solely on bottled water. The benzene in the water is known to cause cancer, and health officials are worried about potentially dangerous reactions if people consume the water. Now the EPA is out on the river searching for answers, and it is under a frozen sheet of ice where at least 40,000 gallons of crude oil are winding their way in the Yellowstone River across much of Montana, and it is a state of emergency. The 12-inch pipe ruptured beneath the river, and oil continued to spill until the engineers shut it off, but it was much too late. The damage had already been done. That oil seeped into Glendive's water treatment plant, and some people even spotted streams of oil 40 miles downstream. This is the second spill in the region in just over 3 years. On to Capitol Hill. The House passes a new bill to tighten restrictions on abortion. Republican women kept it from being even tougher as thousands of Americans marched on the steps of the Capitol in the March for Life Day. The House voted almost right down party lines, 242 to 179, to expand the existing prohibition on federal money going for abortion. The bill would also ban tax credits for health care plans that cover abortions, and Democrats charged Republicans with attacking the women's right to choose. The White House issued a veto threat as the House was still debating the bill. Thursday was the 42nd anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court case which legalized abortions for the first time in this country. In New Jersey, new video footage released by the Bridgeton Police Department. Startling dashboard camera footage shows two police officers approach a car with guns drawn. The two men inside the car with their hands raised, but the officer on the passenger side says that he saw a weapon.
Don't move! Don't you move! Don't you move! Get him out the car, Raj. We got a gun in this glove compartment.
In a matter of seconds, that officer shot and killed the passenger, Jeremy Reed. The officers initially pulled the car over for allegedly running a stop sign, and this happened late last year, and the police department held onto this footage until now. And as you can imagine, tensions, frustration, and anger is rising among Reed's friends and family.
He got shot so many times, and I feel like it wasn't right. He had his hands up, right? If he told him not to move or not, he had his hands up. So if your hands up, well, how are you pulling out a weapon?
Police released the video through the state's Open Public Records Act, but other than releasing the video, the department isn't answering any questions. Both officers are on paid leave while the Cumberland County DA's office investigates. In other news, the Justice Department has recommended that no civil rights charges be filed against Darren Wilson. He is the police officer who shot and killed unarmed Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Wilson fired his gun 12 times, shooting Brown at least 6 times. Now, officials in St. Louis County say that the decision could bring even more violence to that area. Since the first reports, 2 quiet nights have passed in Ferguson and in nearby St. Louis. In November, several business owners saw their stores go up in smoke, tear gas, and shattered glass littering the streets. Today, most windows are uncovered, but some business owners instead are opting to leave a written message of peace outside on the streets. A new target for Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. Big Pharma, the big pharmaceutical companies. She plans to file a bill requiring the major pharmaceutical firms that settle with the government over alleged wrongdoings to pay a portion of their annual profits to support government-funded medical research. That research carried out by the National Institute for Health and the FDA. Warren told a conference sponsored by the healthcare advocacy group that taxpayer-funded research has already helped many of the biggest drug makers develop some of their most profitable drugs. New Hampshire is becoming a busy place for politicians that are hoping to launch a run for the White House in 2016. And it's about to get its first visit from Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. His campaign confirming that Walker will speak to the Republican Party of New Hampshire on March 14th. He and Jeb Bush among the only likely Republican presidential candidates who still haven't paid a visit. Marco Rubio has also spent some time in the nation's first state to hold a primary. It appears that he'll be back as he moves closer to a run, and ABC News is reporting that he landed a top GOP fundraiser. American Crossroads is the group started by Karl Rove, a former Bush advisor, and he'll be spending a lot of time in early voting states like New Hampshire. And that is just another link between Marco Rubio and the Bush family and Bush donors, drawing much more speculation that Rubio could eventually wind up as Jeb Bush's pick for vice president should he win the GOP nomination. One thing is for sure, those two could almost certainly sweep Florida. Another high-ranking elected official arrested in New York on corruption charges, the Speaker of the New York Assembly, Sheldon Silver. Apparently, he had quite a hankering for money, one that could land him in jail for a long time to come. That is according to U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara.
Over his decades in office, Speaker Silver has amassed titanic political power. But as alleged, during that same time, Silver also amassed a tremendous personal fortune through the abuse of that political power.
Titanic political power, now a political career plunging to an icy grave. But this wasn't just one accusation or one small charge. Nope, that is just the tip of the iceberg. It turns out that rising the ranks in New York can have significant advantages.
All told, we allege that Silver corruptly collected some $4 million in bribes and kickbacks disguised as referral fees.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says that this alleged wrongdoing dates all the way back to 2002 and made up nearly 70% of Silver's personal income over that time. The feds immediately seized nearly all of that money from Silver's 8 different bank accounts, and after a quick appearance in federal court, Silver got out on bond.
With significant business or interests before the state, and then corruptly profiting from the legal fees that were paid.
2 years ago, Silver came out and accused an anti-corruption group that was investigating him and his big bank accounts. And not long after, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo shut the commission down without any warning. New York, we hate to say that we told you so, but you get what you vote for.